Welcome to the Ottawa Business Journal's live broadcast of A Compelling Vision for a Modern Workplace. I'm Michael Curran from the Ottawa Business Journal. Thank you for joining us today. Today's live broadcast is related to OBJ's Best Offices project. Best Offices is an annual project, typically launches in the fall, that culminates in a specialty magazine. That magazine, by the way, is only a couple weeks away. Today's show is the continuation of a conversation that we've been having for months, maybe even years. Here's the key questions. What does the modern workplace look like, and how does it function? Here's the premise for today's discussion. In the race to implement hybrid work, organizations have lost focus on user experience. The modern workplace is not only about giant screens, cameras, and meeting rooms and where to sit. A compelling vision starts with the needs of employees and how to keep them happy and productive. Here's the thing that's changed since the pandemic, by the way. A wide range of workplace solutions have arrived. So this isn't like the early days in the pandemic. We're in a different space now. Workspace and resource reservation systems, sound privacy systems, even sensors that monitor occupancy and air quality. And by collaborating with your existing workplace planners, today's guest says organizations can enhance the use, adoption, equity, effectiveness of office space, all while giving a ROI to the business. All right, it's time to meet our guest. She's worked in the field of office solutions for more than 20 years, and she hails from a great local company. A company, by the way, that's recognized in the audiovisual and related office systems. The company helped us in the early days of the pandemic with some of the basics. We're going way into the future here on this one, though. It really strives, this company, to build long-term relationships with customers and help them integrate the solution. That's a key part of what we'll be talking about today. From interactive audiovisual, here is Samantha Dugal. Hello, Samantha.
Hello, Michael.
How are you doing today?
Fantastic. How are you?
Good. You know, it strikes me, Samantha, that this discussion is so timely. As I experienced on the roads today, there are thousands of people, many of them public servants, that are returning to office. And based on what we're hearing, it's not always a smooth adoption to get back into the office. There's a few bumps in the road, but tell me what you're hearing, Samantha.
Same thing, Michael. Absolutely. From some of my customers in the government, it has not been as great a transition as was promised. So, and again, just not having the technology in place to make it a stress-free return.
Yeah, we didn't hope for that, but Samantha, it kind of perfectly sets up our discussion today, because that's what we're talking about, right? That compelling vision of the future. So listen, we've got a big agenda, Samantha. So I'm going to give all of our viewers right now a preview of what we'll be talking about. In topic one, we'll talk about the home. It all starts at home. So we'll dig into that. In topic number two, we'll talk about something that we touched on before that's really interesting, but we're going to do a bit of a deeper dive. It's office space analytics. In topic number three, the IAV approach. IAV, of course, is interactive audiovisual. You'll be talking about kind of a collaborative approach and how to realize this compelling vision for the office. And number four, we want to keep these discussions real. So we're going to talk about a case study. So we're not only talking about the principles and things in a theoretical basis, we're going to keep it real. And for all of our live viewers, sometime around 12:25 or so, we're going to get your questions, and I'll help moderate those for Samantha. Just a reminder for our live viewers, again, whether you're on YouTube or LinkedIn or any other platform, you can ask your question on those platforms, and we'll show them, we'll see them here in our virtual studio. All right, Samantha, it's time to dive in. Topic number one, it starts at home. Over to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. So basically, before employees even leave for the office, how do they engage with the hybrid workplace? How do we set them up for success in their day? Well, the way we can do this, one of the ways we can do this, is we can make the transition from home to work less stressful and eliminate the unknown. So we can add technology that will allow them to pre-schedule their day by reserving their space. They can reserve their parking spot, their desk, their locker, their meeting space. They can see where their coworkers and teammates are sitting for that day, and reserve their space accordingly for collaboration. So that way, before even getting to the office, before even leaving for work the next day, they're already set up um, for and engaging their space and for success in their day.
Yeah, it's about working out those little kinks, right? Like none of us want to start the day with a computer issue or not understand where I'm sitting today or something like that. We heard some of those stories, by the way, Samantha, people showing up and didn't
Mhm.
know where to sit. So, that's a space reservation type. Well, it's a total space. But I get
Yes,
I get your point on this one too, that it starts at the home, right? That the person needs to plan their day in the office and make sure they have a mental vision of exactly where they're going and how they're starting to work. Um,
exactly. Because prior to this, too, Michael, there was, people had their own desks, they had their own space,
of
and
course.
that's not the case anymore. So, to unknowingly go, I've done it, go in and hope that you have a desk. It can be quite impactful.
Yeah, it's the reality today, right? There's the people are, I think the term is hoteling, and if you're going to
Yes,
do that, there's some good reasons why organizations and companies, public sector, private sector, might want to do that, but there's some complexity to it. So that's exactly the point. It needs to start at home with some good technology. And the next point we're going to make is around problem-free technology, and it's kind of what I was indicating a second ago. You don't want like all of these glitches, right, to start your day.
100%. One of the biggest frustrations we get from our customers is when they walk into their space, a meeting room, to a desk, and they can't connect. It's stressful. They just want to plug in or log in or push a button, and they want everything to start and work. They don't want to fuss with cables or logins, different screens, different technologies. They want it standardized. And also, where are they going? What's going on within the company? So a good way of communication is digital signage and wayfinding. And this allows for visitor management, notification, which adds to the problem-free technology. So basically, myself, when I go visit my clients, they have to come meet me, sign me in. But with this, you can pre-register clients. With this technology, you can pre-register clients for visits or vendors for visits. Check in with a QR code. Check in upon arrival. I can find my way to where I need to go with the wayfinding, and the client receives a notification upon my arrival with the QR code.
That's very cool. And all of that is about efficiencies, by the way. And excuse me. Um, One of the next points, expanding the senses, Samantha, it probably means a lot to the interior designers and the architects who might be watching this. So, as we've said for months now, that when you're in the office, it must be like alluring. It must be like this magnet that wants to draw people in. So, besides the starting at home and the problem-free technology, talk to us about expanding the senses.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm here today at my home office, and I have set up my home office for success. So, my technology works. It makes me feel good, puts me in a good headspace to get a lot of stuff done and be productive. So, in in your space, your first sense to take in the space is your eyes. That's your first sense. Is the space pleasing? Does it flow? How does it make me feel? We, interactive audiovisual, as audiovisual integrators, we have to take in other factors that affect the client's experience, like lighting. Is there a reflection on display? Um, Acoustics, is the audio bouncing off the windows, walls, ceiling? Is there an echo? Mapping of the mic and camera. Does everyone in the room have meeting equity? If you're not at your desk and you're in a Teams meeting. Privacy. Is it a confidential conversation? Some managers or team leaders are, sometimes they have to have difficult conversations or know things that others don't. So does it require sound masking in certain areas? So, and this is what our designers take into consideration during the initial planning. And if we can collaborate and partner with the interior designers of the space during this initial planning, we can make it just work, the entire space, without detracting from the aesthetics of the space, rather than having to go in and add our technology after, which, is not the best user experience.
Yeah, I like those points, Samantha. And we've got our entire third topic is about that sense of collaboration, to achieve a workplace that really is kind of the future and very productive. Just a reminder before we launch into topic number two for our live viewers. That we're going to be taking your questions in about, let's say, 15 minutes or so. So if you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, just type those questions in and I'll have Samantha answer them sometime near the bottom of the hour. Samantha, I like this topic, number two. It's about analytics. I think like Google Analytics and marketing and website traffic. That's not what you're talking about here. You're talking about
No.
analytics for space. So
Yes.
help us understand what that means, Samantha.
So it's data-driven analytics. Provides management, facility, real property, business owners with important insights into workplace usage, such as occupancy rates, utilization. It includes both real-time and historical data, such as which meeting room is booked the most, which workspaces are booked the most popular, and no-show, who books and doesn't show, because that does happen. The data is initially collected based on confirmed book-ins and check-ins, check-outs that is secured on a portal or app and is optimized using occupancy sensors. So occupancy measuring provides you with more insights into your employees' behaviors and preferences. So these statistics make you make data-driven decisions and create a working environment that is specifically tailored to what your employees need to collaborate most effectively within your organizations. And this can help prevent irregular data by eliminating no-shows and unregistered bookings. The sensors allow for automatic check-ins and can release book spaces due to inactivity after an inputted time so that others are free to use them.
Super cool. Something that I think we've been hearing about these sensors, but this is like capturing data from those sensors, rolling up that data into software, and then being able to identify either historical trends. And I think it's super relevant to this discussion, Samantha, because we don't really know, right? Like to me, it feels like we're in this new world of the workplace, and we can make some presumptions about everyone's going to be using these meeting rooms, or we're going to have these huddles, or we're going to have this or that, but it's all just kind of assumptions. And we're going to talk about ROI. I think the ROI point is massively important, by the way. But what are some of the advantages, I guess, of the analytics that we're talking about?
Well, they give you insight into workplace statistics, what's being used, how many people are booking the space and then not showing. With sensors, you can have the space released, which is great because then others can use it. But then if they book it, and then don't show again. So is it because of the technology in the room or lack thereof? It gives you total insight into your spaces to dig in deeper to find out, is that space needed? Is it just this, is there a problem with the space? So how do we optimize the workspace? So the analytics in combination with the room booking and desk booking, again, can show if it's over or under occupied. And then that allows us to calculate the number of desks or spaces you need. Maybe you're only using half that floor. Maybe you need a smaller space. Many other data-driven options are available. And the platform that we use is GoBright, which is compatible with Microsoft Suite, Outlook, Teams, Power BI. And one of the reasons that our company has decided to go with that platform versus others, because there's a lot out there, is because it does it all. It has everything for the analytics. That's where it's very robust.
The final point in this topic we're going to make is around ROI, and let me try to set this up. So, if you're someone watching this and you're a business owner, you're an executive, you're a property management person, I think one of the things that might be going through your head when we have these discussions is, whoa, all this stuff requires a big investment. And I think it's when you start thinking about analytics and ROI that the business case starts becoming more clear for this. But tell us about ROI as it relates to analytics, Samantha.
Absolutely. So you're going to invest in the technology regardless. You have to have your Teams meetings. You need your Workspace. So the technology is already there. So for this, such as GoBright, it's a very small investment in comparison to the technology and the money that these places are putting into the space and what they're paying for their space. So basically, the data-driven analytics improves future planning and it promotes cost efficiencies. So by using this information, you can redesign your workplace, benefiting employees and your pocketbook. By measuring your office occupancy, you can help you realize that you have way too much space for your employees' modern ways of working. And then you can decide to let go of the space, lowering real estate costs. And additionally, it'll, trickle effect, reduce your energy bill, less need for heating, air conditioning, less need for AV equipment, maintenance. So it really does give you insight into what your space is doing. And for, the technology's there. You just have to add some to it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's that real estate point that for me really makes the point, because it's not to say every organization has an opportunity to reduce its office footprint. I know that's
Mhm.
not always the case, but it will be the case if you've got the analytics, or if you're considering, hey, can we shrink our footprint here, office space footprint by 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%. If you start thinking about some of those numbers, like typically businesses, when they look at their big costs, it's people often, and then it's often something like office
Mhm.
space. So if you can use the analytics to identify opportunities for efficiencies, then I think some of those efficiencies can be reinvested in this technology, so that what we're presenting here, a compelling vision for the modern workplace, is attainable for most businesses.
Absolutely. The overhead, right? It's
Yeah.
reduce your overhead. That's
Yeah.
always which includes your space and your utilities. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move to topic 3, and again, just a reminder: if you're watching live and you got some questions, we're eager to sort through those questions. Don't wait to the last minute; answer them now, and we'll start identifying which questions we'll be asking to Samantha. So, Samantha, topic number 3 is a key point here. So, you and your colleagues at Interactive Audio Visual are advocating, I think, for a different approach. So to building off, to effectively not constructing in a physical way, but bringing everything together into an integrated office. So the point is, don't wait for some of these important considerations till the project's almost over. That it needs to be the terms used often these days, a collaborative approach. But start talking to us about the IAV approach and what your vision is here.
So audiovisual is usually audiovisual integration technology is usually the last thing thought of, right? So in being in the industry for quite some time, that's always what happens. We get there, everything's already been set up. We have a table that we have to cut a hole in for the cubby. We don't know where to run our cables because it's a glass wall. There's so many factors that add to our challenges in setting up the AV. So usually the interior designers, the architects, property and facility planners, engineers are usually the first brought in by the customer. So what we're trying to do is to collaborate with them at the onset of the project, the process, just in partnership, collaboration, partnership. This is what they're doing. This is how we can value add to it, basically for the end user's experience. So, what makes a space? What makes it work for those using it? Yes, look, feel, budget, aesthetics, but sound, sight, meeting equity. these are all other things that we as technology experts take into consideration and could really help partner with the interior designers, the architects in to value add to their customers. So so we need to make sure that all the senses are functioning, not just the sight and the feel, right? So that's what we're trying to do, is to partner, collaborate without taking away from the aesthetics, and just working as partners with that vertical, which is the interior design architect vertical.
There to me, there's the key point, which is, pre-pandemic, it probably wasn't good that we were thinking about AV at the AV and office systems. I'll expand that at the last minute, but now it's really a bad decision because we're in this hybrid work world, and the integration of these technologies and solutions is part of our day to day. So it's not like the before the pandemic. That's why I think, Samantha, you and your colleagues are making a great point here, that it really does have to be a collaborative effort. And you need to think, what is the nature of work that's being done in this office? What tools and solutions do they need? We've already talked about a few here. And let's have those discussions beforehand so that, we're, as I said, I guess the end vision here is a happy and productive worker, right, Samantha?
100%. So, for us, we are the technology experts. We understand AV. Interactive AV has been doing this for many years. The owner is constantly, getting us new information on the technology and educating us. So, that's the value that we bring. Our designers are constantly looking at new technology, what's out there, what's going to fit that space, what's going to make this space work for the end user. And with the mandated back to the office initiative and the stigma surrounding it, the workplace needs to be a place of enjoyment. They want to walk into their space, design visually pleasing to the eye. They want to have their space reserved. They want to have the people around them that they can collaborate with, walk into a meeting space and have everything work at the touch of a button. The lighting's great. The audio is specifically tuned to that room. So the collaboration and partnership in the planning stages, with the space design team and the technology design team, that will allow that to happen seamlessly. So by tech enabling the environment, we simplify the end user's daily journey by seamlessly integrating technologies to enhance, add value to the interior design, look, and feel of the space.
That's awesome. All right, we're into our final topic, and it's a topic number 4, and it's the one that brings everything together, Samantha, because we've kind of talked about some things theoretically and the principles. Now you're going to give us a case study. So, by the way, the name of this organization is confidential, so we're not sharing it. But walk us through this real life story where IAV, helps someone realize this vision of the future.
So we have worked with this client for some time, and very luckily, these guys are very technical, but they want to standardize their rooms because they understand the need to have every room that their users walk into needs to look, feel the same. And now with the Back to Work initiative, and also with, every room has to be a Teams room. So basically we had to help them come up with a new standard for meeting rooms. They wanted flexible options, capabilities. They wanted to fit within a certain budget. And they didn't want to deal with additional physical infrastructure like power, data connections into walls, because those incur additional costs such as, electrical and, reinforcing walls, etc. So we just needed to simplify these deployment challenges. We also needed to improve the room acoustics, and we need to support MS Teams room functionality, and also by supporting bring your own device. So plug and play, wireless connection, however they choose. So our approach was their standard is Crestron and MS Teams room system platform. So we just updated to, we wanted to update to a new video conferencing system. Added an 8-person size boardroom table, has the Extron cable cubby in the center. So HDMI and USB, easy retract for plug and play for bring your own device, as well as USB charging points. We also put in a robust mobile cart, which supports the large format display, mounts the video bar with the camera, beamforming microphone arrays, as well as speakers, height adjustable, allowing optimization of the camera and display position within the meeting room. And one advantage of the mobile cart is its sound absorptive surfaces as it comes out around the display, which helps improve audio quality within the room. That's actually a Legrand product. Really, really great product. So then all the required electronics are mounted within the mobile cart, which includes power conditioning, which saves construction time and cost for the client, no drilling into walls or mounting power. All the equipment is pre-configured off-site, pre-programmed and installed in the cart. So basically, when we arrive on site, simply add the cables from the cable cubby, connect, install the floor track to protect them from people walking and ADA compliant. Also installed a room occupancy sensor, which we have talked about, which automatically starts the system. Somebody walks in, starts up, and it can be set up for a user's preferences too, totally configurable. So they walk in, it's all ready to go, fired up. They press the presentation button, and they're off to the races. When done and they walk out of the room, the occupancy sensor recognizes no movement in the room for whatever preset time we have put in there as per the customer, and then it just automatically powers everything down. So they can present wired, wireless, full 4K resolutions, or present content into an MS Teams call from their laptop, or just present from the cables from the cable cubby. They have the ability to start a Teams call by simply pressing the one-touch join button on the touch panel located at the front. And one additional benefit, as the client has many meeting spaces like this, is leveraging the control system monitoring platform, and it can be remotely monitored and supported by an in-house tech support team. That way, if they have any issues, they can remotely support the end user. And they can also retrieve room utilization analytics for future decision making. So the result of this, the meetings start within about a minute each and every time. So meetings are on time, no fussing around trying to get technology started. Participants can present in the highest resolution from any device. Meeting participants in the room are seen easily and heard clearly by anyone connected to their video calls. System uptime is very high, and the user adoption of these spaces is now very high as well. So because people can use it easily, they are using it more. And we also save the client a lot of time and money by leveraging the technology-enabled mobile cart. And then also what has happened with this client is a cookie cutter. So basically this is in place now. They want to deploy this particular 8-person room. We have, meeting room A set ready to go.
Very cool. There's a lot happening in that boardroom that isn't completely apparent from these photos, by the way.
Yes.
There's a lot of thinking.
A lot in the background.
A lot of integration there, Samantha. Okay, so we're making it real. It's the, as we say, the compelling vision for the modern workplace. Listen, Samantha, we get some great questions, so we're going to move right into some of our Q&A. There are some really good ones here. I'm going to start with Chris Champagne. Thanks, Chris, for this question. What are the implications? So this is really interesting question. What are the implications for a business that doesn't modernize their workplace for their employees? So, what if someone says, forget it, I'm not doing any of this. Any thoughts on what what the ramification might be, Samantha?
I think one of the first ones would be employee retention, right? Because happy happy workplace, like was happy wife, happy life, happy workspace, happy employees. Yeah, I mean that would be one. The other one would be productivity. I
For
feel
sure.
that, yeah, I mean, if I'm in a space that makes me feel good, and if I am surrounded by people that I like to work with,
Yeah.
then I am much more productive than if I am working from my lap in a coffee shop or at a cubicle that's super noisy, and I can't make phone calls or hear myself think to get through my day. So I think productivity is a huge one.
For sure. I couldn't agree more. We got a great question as well from Megan Burnett. Thanks, Megan, for the question. Are you finding interior designers are looking at more AV inspired furniture over standard, the old school kind of boardroom furniture?
No, the answer is no.
Okay.
And that's why we're trying to do this, I think.
Okay.
So I find that we walk into a lot of spaces, and it's furniture. It's not AV inspired furniture. So we're having to deal with, where do we put our cables? How can we fit a cable cubby? Where does our touch panel go? All these things. Even, they've got a cabinet and we're putting thousands of dollars of electronics into it that the customer has purchased, and there's no thermal management. So this product that they've just spent hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars on, is going to overheat and die. So these are things that we really have to think about with furniture, and why AV inspired furniture needs to go to these spaces.
Okay. So you're really reinforcing that third point that we talked about, which is that collaboration. So, in
Yes.
many cases, one thing you said that really struck me, Samantha, is you're going to spend the money anyways, right? So, if you're going to spend that money on all these office solutions, you better integrate them at the beginning so that everything is well planned out, and isn't what you said about cables or something like that. Not knowing where to put them, or drill. I can imagine just drilling holes in the new office furniture. That's not
Yeah,
good.
exactly. Yeah. Especially, floor track, ADA compliancy. These are all things that we have to think about when it comes to our technology.
Okay, and I think our final question comes from Thomas Hayes. Thanks, Thomas. And this is one, that I think about too. Thomas is asking, do you find that many companies are still pushing the open on office concept? What are you hearing, or what are you hearing from your clients?
Everybody is, right? I mean, you look at, um, you know, I have my niece actually. She works for the government. Her team has a floor, and they have to book in their time for when they're back to work, because it's hybrid, 3 days a week. So who's in
Yeah.
the office during that week? It's an open office concept. Can you
Okay.
book your space? Do you get to, so even a previous company that I worked for is the same thing. You work from home, you show up at the office, but you don't know where you're sitting on that given day. It's
Hmm.
open office.
Hmm.
And again, like being in sales, especially, you're on the phone a lot of dialogue, a lot of Teams calls, and it's not the best environment um, to work your day in if you don't have the sound masking, or the right technology in place. So yes, the open office concept
It's still
is
there, and maybe it needs to be there for flexibility and that type of stuff. This is purely an anecdotal, so I'm not saying this is true at all. I think what I observed is pre-pandemic, and we'd have reporters and salespeople and designers in an open space, and everyone was happy being on the phone, and kind of accepted that there was a lot of ambient noise going on. And
hmm
then we all kind of went a remote work, and we got
yeah.
used to, not always, but quiet settings. And then when you're asking people to go back in the office, they're like, I don't feel comfortable having those discussions in public. And that's where we've
Having
talked.
anxiety from all the noise, right?
Yeah,
Exactly, because
yeah.
they're used to being at home with their dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still there quite a bit, the open office cubicle concept, but there is a way to make it better.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's what we're striving to do.
And I lied. Maybe we'll have one more question. I don't know if you can answer this one, but it's from the Heart of Orleans BIA, which is a business improvement area that represents a lot of people on St. Joseph Boulevard and beyond. But they're asking about costs a little bit, and the answer probably is give you a phone call.
Absolutely,
But
yes. And they're not that much more, to be honest, in
okay,
line with good furniture versus AV inspired, such as, I mean, yes, you could get a mobile cart like that, not even close, but it's a mobile cart from Amazon, right?
yes,
But it doesn't have the thermal management that you're putting your investment into.
okay,
It doesn't have the flexibility. It doesn't have the acoustics. But if you go to, a well-known furniture manufacturer,
yeah,
then you would be spending about the same. It's in line with good
cool.
furniture.
Cool. And our best offices project includes a lot of a great furniture supplier too. So
It does, and those, yeah, we work with. So
yeah,
absolutely, yes,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So we'll get you some help. Samantha, I hate to say this, but we've run out of time. We're into overtime a little bit here. So I think you've done a great job.
Thank
The
you.
mission was to present that vision of a compelling office. And I think we've gotten into a lot of details. So we talked about the starts at home. We talked about the importance of analytics. We talked about the importance of collaboration between various experts, maybe architects, interior designers, people like you, Samantha, and then we kind of brought it home. So I'm sure people have more questions, and we want to encourage, the viewers and listeners to contact you, because this is hopefully not the end of the discussion, but a beginning of a discussion with some of the people watching today. We'll bring up your contact info on screen here, Samantha. So I guess they can email or phone.
Absolutely, anytime. I am here to help and continue the dialogue.
Okay, great. And again, for all of our registered viewers today, we will be sending around a replay link. And Samantha, we will be sending around your contact information. So that will be out in just a few hours. Samantha, I want to thank you and Interactive Audio Visual for helping us today. You and your company was so instrumental, I think, in working out in the early days of the pandemic some of the emergency basic stuffs. And now I think, Samantha, we've gotten a lot more sophisticated about that vision of the office. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it.
All right. That's Samantha Dugal from IAV, and as indicated, we'll be sending her contact information in just the next few hours for the registered viewers. By the way, that's one of the reasons why you should register. You do get the replay link, you do get the contact information for our guests, and we're really trying to facilitate some of those discussions to make sure that, again, we're just not having a talk about something and you forget. Let's have a talk about something and you can take action to improve your business. A reminder for all of our viewers and listeners that you can visit obj.ca website every day for the latest in local business. I highly recommend you subscribe to our OBJ Today. That's our weekly email newsletter. It goes out Monday to Friday. And I know some of you might be thinking, whoa, another email, give me a break. The email really kind of summarizes the news of the day. So a lot of the top business people and executives in the city say it's super important to them. And of course, you can watch us or follow us on social media. If you're on YouTube, by the way, please click the red subscribe button and the bell icon. And if you do that, you'll get a notification when we post a new video or when we're live. That's all the time we have for today. For all of my colleagues at Ottawa Business Journal and our partners today, Interactive Audio Visual, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.